I run the master's program in the ecology department, and I teach only graduate students. And I came here from a primarily undergraduate serving institution in California, and I was so terrified of teaching my students here last year. And so I think sitting where you are, I was literally sitting here like one floor down in this workshop last year when I started, and I was really intimidated by the idea of teaching graduate students at Columbia University. And I realized pretty quickly that students here, like students everywhere, are excited about what they're here to study. And so letting them follow that passion and being equally passionate, I think, about that topic, I found was a much better way of teaching than trying to throw as much content as I could at them, which is what I was doing initially at the start of my semester last year. Because it's not so much about being able to deliver a lot of content in lectures, but engaging with the students, having discussions with them, and really getting them to think about the bigger picture in the topics that I was teaching about. My other thing that I have three things to share with you. As somebody teaching graduate students, and I think the same is probably true of undergrads at Columbia, they work themselves really hard, and they are here under a lot of pressure a lot of the time. And this is kind of a specific thing, but I found out that my students were using like a WhatsApp chat group to ask each other questions about assignments and to stress about assignments together, and they were using it like 24 hours a day. And for some of the students, it really stressed them even more. And so I'm going to this year have a conversation with them about that, because I think it's probably true of a lot of smaller classes where you'll have students doing that. And it's really good. It's a really good support network for them, but it can also, especially if a student is struggling, to hear other students at 2 o'clock in the morning kind of texting about, oh, where are you on this assignment and where are you on that one, was just overwhelming for them. So I'm going to have a conversation about kind of appropriate use of those technologies. And then finally, I had no idea where any of the coffee shops were on campus. So ask the people in your department, because I discovered there were 2 really close to my department, like 2 months into the semester, that I didn't even know were there. So those are my 3 takeaways.
Before coming here, I was not teaching at any other university. I came from private practice to full-time teaching, and when I did, I put together a course and became a course director for that course, teaching a certain discipline in dentistry. And what I wish I knew, or someone would have told me, is that it is a lot of work. And when I presented that idea to my director, she was very supportive, and she asked me, "Are you okay with the amount of work?" And I was like, "Yeah. I mean, how hard could that be?" It is hard. And during that time where I was putting everything together, I was working pretty much nights and weekends to do all the readings, to put lectures together, to put assignments together, to make sure everything is done as it should. So if that is your situation, you're putting new stuff together, make sure you have enough time and don't cram things, because it takes a lot of time and effort.
Before I was here, I was teaching at a really large university. I was at the University of Missouri for a few years. Before that, I'd been at University of Arkansas, and I did my PhD at Berkeley, so all distinctly different from Columbia. I knew that the students here were going to be smart, motivated. I knew that, generally speaking, Columbia students are very good at writing because, of course, they go through core. In my first year, in my first semester, I had a class that was multi-level. If you have freshmen in your class, even if it's a literature class, even if they've been doing a lot of literature, if you assign a writing assignment fairly early on, maybe even in the second semester as they're still sort of developing their writing skills, be prepared that they may not know how to approach a writing assignment in the best way. That was just, in retrospect, very obvious, but it had not occurred to me before that.